before we start this, I was out hunting earlier today. Yeah, I had a great hunt. I got my first bucket lister. I got the bucket. Anyway, on to the review. First, we're going to talk about the build of the Simplex and some of the great parts of it, why I actually like it and use it. The build, for the most part, it's pretty solid. Collapsible. As you see this is so easy. Take this and throw it in the back seat, throw it in the back of the rig. Like I say, you could probably put it in a backpack, take it out to the hunting site. I freaking love this, how this thing will break down. I have another Detector, doesn't break down like this, but this is actually nice. Other things about the thing, the pistol grip. This is nice. I like that. It works good. It's not too nose heavy because of the coil and stuff. Some of the other good features would be, well, let's say the modes. In the modes, you have your two parks, your fields, your all metal, and the beach. And the vibration grip's pretty neat for, let's say, underwater detecting. Or if you're hard of hearing like me, I don't use the vibration grip, but for if you had to use that for hard of hearing, that's actually a really, really good thing. See if there's anything else I didn't cover. Has a built-in backlight, so you can see if you're hunting at night. I mean, these are the obvious things other people that have gone through. It has a actual LED built into it. Again, good for nighttime. Number 2, target VDI numbers. Of course, that's important, but first thing of all is you should learn to use your machine, not just by looking at the machine. You got to learn those tones. That's really a really important part of it. Learn your machine, learn your tones. I've 60, 70, maybe 80 hours on the machine. I'm used to the tones. I could sit here all day long right now and show you on VDIs. I pull out a nickel, dime, quarter, half dollar, rings and everything else, but you know, we're going to be honest about that. Those numbers aren't going to be 100% accurate if you do that. I mean, unless it's like definitely under 6 inches in the ground, but even at 6 inches, like I said, let's be real, there's so many different factors right there to the VDIs. Your ground mineralization, the placement of the coin. Is it flat? Is it on its side? If you have a multi-coin spill, you're going to get different numbers. How much trash is around your coin or your whatever you're trying to pull up. So, you know, I could do the air test. We could all do that. You can go watch somebody else's video on that. I don't hold a lot of faith in that. If it's 70s, you know, you're probably looking at a dime. If it's over the 80s, you're looking at a quarter. I get in like 65, 67s on the pennies normally when digging, but again, it's sporadic. It's a little shaky. Nothing's perfect about that. That's about it on VDIs. I don't want to go into that too much further. Like I said, I could do that all day. I could run the coins in front of there and show you that. But we get into real world here, and I'm trying to keep it basic but real. The numbers are going to be different when you're out there in the field depending on the conditions. Separation. In the settings, well, it's not in the settings. When you do your separation, it has pretty fast recovery speed. You can watch somebody else's video about that. But separation, I will put in a clip showing that within 4 inches, I had a metal bolt and a coin, a dime, and a rusty screw. 4 inches apart, pretty good separation. I do want to say that about the Simplex. Fast recovery speed and good separation. See it in this video right here. Okay, here's a pretty good example of separation. In this hole, actually I made 2 because there's a reason for that. The first was that bolt, which is fair size, but I still kept getting my signal, and there's a beautiful dirty dime. So cool. I mean, it's not far apart, about the width of my thumb to my pointer finger, so that's a little bit of separation. I knew there was basically 2 targets, but I'm going to give the Simplex that. Separation on 2 targets. My personal settings, well, I live here in Washington State. We don't have the greatest ground. Mineralization's usually in the 80s, so there's minerals, believe me, depending on where you're at, a school, a park, a curb strip, wherever I'm hunting. So I try and go as deep as I can, and they say, you know, that's the field. So I pretty much use the field mode for almost all my digging. If it's trashy, if there's a lot of junk in the ground around it, certain parks and stuff, I will go into Park 1, Park 2, and listen for different tones. My schools and parks are really not too trashy, so I get away with the 11-inch coil, not a problem. If I do, I switch over to Park 1 or Park 2. Did a lot of different searching down on different rivers where I do have black sand and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Simplex really hasn't been any problem. I get through the black sand, but when it comes to, let's say, beaches and stuff, saltwater beaches that is, I'm like 100 miles away from the beach. I've done one actual saltwater beach. I've had no problem up on the dry white sand, but down towards the water, it gets very, very chattery, and I'm just being honest. I'm not going to say I wouldn't recommend it for a saltwater beach. It will work. I've done it, and I've dug coins and different artifacts at the beach. But for beach settings, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 links down below where I want you to go check out 2 of my fellow brothers that do great beach huntings with the Simplex. I'm going to have you check out Southern Cross Prospecting and Costa treasure hunting. You'll see the pictures, and the links are down below. That's what you want to check out when it comes to beach hunting. The negatives, are there negatives? Well, there's a lot of positives. When it comes to this, I am just over 6 foot myself. It tends to be a little shaky, but not bad. I don't mind that. My only biggest negative that I can actually talk about here is down here where my coil attaches. There's another grommet that belongs on this side right here, but comes out that I put it on. I went to tighten the bolt down. It's not a bolt. It's a form of a wing nut, all plastic. I went to tighten that down, and sure as heck, it spun freely. So I'd pull out the second grommet to get this to hold. And it's holding for the most part, but I'm telling you right now, that tends to piss me off a little bit, that it wasn't perfect. I get a hold of Nokta Makro and tell them about it. Maybe they'll send me another plastic bolt that goes through. But honestly, that is probably the worst. If I have any complaints, that's definitely at that. Like I said, it's a little bit shaky, but we'll tell further over time. Like I said, I have 60, 70, maybe 80 hours on it now. If it gets worse, I will do an update. Right now, I don't have any other complaints other than that. My overall, I'm going to be honest about it. That's why I said no games, no BS about this review. I like it. Okay, it's not a $3,000 CTX 3030. It's not a Knox 800, but it is good. And simply for the price, going at $254, this machine, you're not going to touch it. For depth, pretty good ID numbers. You honestly, I don't think there's anything on the market in that $250 price range that's really going to touch this machine. For that, I will give it at least 4.5 out of 5 stars. I dig it. I've had some great hunts. I mean, yeah, I've pulled silver. Cue the video. 87. There's got to be a quarter down there. I'm all ready. What? Just over 6 inches at this angle. Oh, look at that. Here's my Costa. That's a quarter. Clad, probably. It's, whoa. Whoa! Look at that, look at that, look at that. Oh, I hope that's coming up on film. There you go, there's my drop the mic. That's probably the best thing I've dug in the last 2 days. Seriously. I don't want to rub that too much. That would be 1960. That would be silver. And, you know, I pulled rings. Cue the video. Oh, yeah. That's a ring. That is a ring. That's really small, so it's probably a lady's. I can't tell if there's anything in it. But for overall, I'm just going to say, if you're getting into detecting, or even thinking about getting into detecting, you're not sure yet, go spend the $254 to get this without the headphones. You can always plug in your own headphones for $254. This will either get you into it, or you'll know that metal detecting isn't for you. I think, though, actually, if you even have an inkling to be metal detecting, you're going to like this machine. And at $254, I'd say within a year or less, it could be that very first time you can go out there and find that gold ring. $254, you do a hunt once a week, 6 months, you're probably going to pay for this, or double time pay for this thing. It is actually a great machine. I totally recommend it. Just my personal opinions, but that's it. I totally recommend this for this price. I like the machine. 4.5 stars. Right now, I'm not begging for subscribers. No, I'm not. The whole thing comes down to, I think I'm at 82 at this moment. I'm trying to get to 100. Everybody wants to get to 100, but the cool thing is, I think it's cool. At 100, like I've said in the last few videos, I'm giving things away. And at 100, come on back in here. I'm going to show you. I said I'm going to give away silver. These are my first very 3 silvers ever found. And you know, that's precious to a, you know, you covet your first pieces of silver. Right there, I think my first find, World War II nickel right there. You know, it's silver. And next I found my dime, and that was my very first ever quarter. All silvers, and those are going to one lucky person who gets picked as soon as I hit 100. That's what you're getting. And then I will continue with more giveaways. I mean, I love this stuff. Every year, as a detectorist, you love your first silvers. I'm going to give that away. You do understand that. I'm giving that away to you guys just for being on my channel. And there'll be lots more to come.